Hello, you guys. It's Luxura Moon Goddess, and today, for Real Talk Friday, I'm going to be talking about how I want a glamorous life. I'm not going to lie, I want a glamorous life. For me, I am just over the average way of living. Like, the average way of living, you know, going to work, clocking in at some job, and meeting average people, and not there's anything wrong with average people, but it's like I keep thinking about how I want a life of glamour. I want a life of glitz and glamour. And I'm just over like the mundane modern way of living. hmm As you can see, I got my tea in this mug. So, with that being said, I want to, and I think I'm going to start doing things to manifest a more glamorous life. For me, growing up, and I don't know, I just feel like there's something about me to where it's almost like it's something in my mind to where it's almost like, was I supposed to be a celebrity? Was I really supposed to, I would used to, especially when I was a little bit younger, I would have thoughts of like wanting to be born into like royalty or like an upper class, society or what have you. And so it's almost like I want to manifest a more glamorous life. I want my life to be much more interesting. And especially right now, and I think it will come into fruition, sometime in the future, especially if I continue to manifest. With the power of manifesting, who's to say that I'm not going to have a glamorous life? And so, speaking of glamorous life, have y'all ever heard that song by Sheila E? She wants to live the glamorous life without love. It ain't much. Now, y'all know I'm not a singer. If I could sing, I'd be making some real money. Haha. But anyway, so I want a more glamorous life. I want these glamorous moments. I want to have like these more unique experiences to happen to me. I don't know how it will happen, but I know for a fact that I'm going to manifest it some type of way using the power of dark energy, manifesting with spoken word, however I'm going to manifest it. It's almost like, I want to meet more, not that I'm into really making friends or anything like that, but I want to meet, more interesting people, have like unique and interesting interactions, or even like, be like someone who's lucky enough to meet a celebrity. Like, that's the type of things that I want to happen to me. And it's been happening, in my mind more and more lately. It's like I crave more glamorous experiences. It's like I want, lavish trips. I want to meet very interesting, upper crust people. I want, to have more glamorous luxury items, luxurious clothes. As you see, I got my silky little robe on. And I wonder if, especially for the time being, until I do get a more glamorous life, it's like I want to experiment with creating more glamour and adding more glamour into my life, however I can. hmm And to me, it's almost like I can't be the only woman who's had this feeling before, you know, and it's something especially where I see like for example, like old Hollywood beauty, like those old Hollywood beauty stars like Marilyn Monroe, Sophia Loren, Eartha Kitt, and you see how they carry themselves, how elegant they are, how glamorous they are with their looks, the way that they speak, the way that they carry themselves. And it's like, oh my goodness, I want that amount of glamour in my life. How could I get it? I would be willing to, if I had the money, to pay for that level of glamour that they have. So, I think some type of way I'm going to figure out how, starting off slow, what can I do to make my life more glamorous in the meantime until I get more of these glamorous moments. And especially with meeting people, it's like, and a lot of people, and it's incredible to me because when I was younger, especially in my teenage years, I was more of a homebody. Now it's like I want to be out and about. Who am I going to meet? Who am I going to run into? Who's going to speak to me today? It's like now I'm just looking forward for someone to run into me, to having, almost like a magical encounter of some sort. hmm So, with that being said, I'm going to be incorporating more glamour into my everyday life. I'm already thinking about, even more ideas like, you know, and you see I already have makeup and stuff on, but it's like, can I do my makeup more glamorous? Can I try different hairstyles? Like, what could I do? It's like the possibilities are so endless with glamour. And when being a practitioner of magic, I want to especially get into more of glamour magic, glamour spells, because that, especially doing those spells and putting that energy out there, that is going to especially help with manifesting and attracting a more glamorous life. So, with that being said, and like I said, I can't be the only woman. Let me know in the comment section if you're someone who wants a glamorous life. Like, I want a more interesting lifestyle. It's almost like, also, as well, I don't know if I was like born in the wrong time period per se, but like I said, something about modern living, like the mundane average way of living, it's just not for me. I really don't like working a 9 to 5 job or even like a simple retail job or even most jobs, if I'm being honest. It's like, even when it comes to that perspective of work, it's like I want to like random out there jobs, like, working in like a casino or just like, what I'm saying? Just something like really out there and something that's like out of the ordinary. Something that's more, interesting than per se, a 9 to 5 job or like an average job, a normal job, or what have you. hmm And I think a part of this stems from me because I think I understand it in the sense that, I'm not really the average person. At least not in America and the United States where I live. I don't look average per se. I'm a Native American and black woman living in the United States of America. My height is not average. My appearance is not average. My weight is not average. My features are not average. I am not the average person in America. I'm just really not. And so it's like, why do I really want to settle for just an average way of living? It's like I just want something much more than the ordinary way of living per se. I don't want to be wasting away at a 9 to 5 job. I'd rather be, and it may be like the inner child in me that's like, almost in a way that when you imagine as a child, it's like, oh, well, and they tell you when you're growing up, oh, you can do whatever you like, you can have anything you like, even though it's not true. But it's almost like I have a dreamer's view of wanting a glamorous life. It's like, I just want a more glamorous life. I don't really know how to describe it. I don't even know. And like I said, this feeling started within, I want to say, the past couple of weeks because again, I'm just over an average way of living. I'm just so over it. You know, it's like I just want something more than, clocking in, clocking out. Going to work with these people, especially when it comes to work. I'm one of those people, some people are talking about, oh, Work is my family, my coworkers are like my friends, and da 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 da. It's like, no, I'm just clocking in. I want my money, and I want to get the fuck out of there. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to do all this extracurricular activities with people. It's like I don't even want to be trying to memorize y'all's names on these jobs anyway, because it's like you have to stop and think when it comes to something like the workforce, jobs, and careers. Especially when you're just starting off at work, it's like your first job, second job, or what have you. It's going to be some sort of part time or full time job that you probably don't even care about anyway. So you have to stop and think, are those people on that job going to mean anything to you 10 years, 20 years down the line? More than likely not. Like, you're not even going to really remember them like that. So it's like, what do I need to even, it's like, I don't even feel like putting in the effort to learn people's names. I know how that sounds, but it's like, I don't even want to try to bother learning y'all's names because, especially with the way most jobs are, you know how people are. These coworkers are terrible. These managers can't manage. And it's like, I will literally leave a job so fast now. And like, because I just don't want to be wasting time. Like, I feel like when it comes to working and doing certain things, that's like the average way of living, the way that you're supposed to live as a productive adult. To me, it's like, it's not productive to me. I don't feel productive at work. And it's not like I'm not trying to do my job, because it's like you're going to work, getting paid, and you're supposed to do a job because you're obviously getting paid. But it's like I don't feel productive. I don't feel like I'm doing anything meaningful to society. Like, people, oh, you need to be a productive member of society. Well, going to work is not productive to me. It's not important to me. It's not something that I value other than the money. I don't care about like working like that, because it's like, even with this, I've started this YouTube channel. I feel more productive, honestly, doing this. Even though at the time of this video, it's not like a super popular channel or anything like that, I honestly feel more productive doing this. Like, it's like, and I was led to do this. Something about me spiritually said that doing a YouTube channel is something that I need to do. So it's like I'm busy, making YouTube videos, coming up with ideas, and then I'm posting on Instagram, trying to gain more views for the YouTube channel. And it's like, I honestly feel like my time is better spent doing this than being on any type of average job. And it's like, time is so valuable. Why do I want to be wasting time doing things that I don't enjoy, doing things that I don't want to do? hmm So, with that being said, I'm going to continue, of course, posting on this YouTube channel. And it's like, what else, now that I brought it up, it's like, what else could I do? Because especially, and I've come a long way from when I was younger. When I was younger, I was more shy, more timid. Like, I couldn't even imagine, right now in this moment, having a YouTube channel, putting myself out there on the internet. Because if you told me that as a child, from the future, oh, you're going to be posting videos on YouTube, I would have probably just looked at you like you're crazy. But it's like, even like this makes me feel like a more glamorous life. Like, oh, I'm a YouTuber, content creator. And I know how that kind of sounds, to some extent it sounds like, oh, well, that's not a real job, or da 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 da. It's like, who cares if it's not a real job? I don't care if it's not a real job. I don't care about a real job, because a real job, honestly, is real boring. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. A real job is real boring. I don't want a boring way of life. I don't want the average way of living. I'm just over it. And I'm almost 30 years old. I'm just, I want more for myself. I want a more outgoing lifestyle. hmm So, with that being said, it's like, trying to go out more now. I like going out and about more than when I was younger, because, like I said, I was more timid, more of a homebody. Now it's like I want to be out and about. I want to be in like my, when, especially when we're growing up, if you're around my age, the grown and sexy is like, I want to have grown and sexy moments. I want to have, glamorous moments. I'm out there, being out and about. Who am I going to see? Who am I going to run into? And some of it, I think, is like I'm almost, or really, I am romanticizing my life more. And that is helping like so much. Like I'm looking more forward to my life. I'm feeling more bliss, more happiness in my life when I romanticize these different moments of my life. It's like else can I do to make my life more magical? So, with that being said, I don't really like the city that I'm living in right now. So, usually in my spare time, with that being said, I like to travel and drive around a lot. So, there's two major cities, not two. One's only an hour away, and the other one is about 2 hours and 15 minutes away. So, the one that's 2 hours and 15 minutes away, I'm always driving over there. And that is like the city that I want to move because and it's Houston, Texas. I want to move to Houston, Texas, like so bad. It's like I want to live there. It's much better than where I'm living right now. Da, 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 da. And especially with the life that I'm trying to manifest, a more glamorous life. Houston, Texas is honestly probably like the most perfect place for this. And it's like only I feel like it's only a matter of time that I'm going to get there. Hmm. And a lot of people, especially, are moving to Houston. Now, I've heard a lot of people say a lot of negative things about Houston, but it's like, I don't care. I want to move there. I want to live there. I want to run into people there. They have concerts, they have different things there. Galveston is close by, which is like, kind of like beachy area. There's, things of that nature. And it's like, please, I will take Houston any day over where I'm currently living because I don't like the city. I don't like the city I'm living in right now. And that city is San Antonio. Like, I don't really enjoy San Antonio. It's not really for me. I moved here from the city of Charlotte, North Carolina, and it's like night and day. They're not the same. So I'd rather move to Houston because again, especially with creating a more glamorous life, I feel like Houston with all of the diversity there especially, it is like the perfect place for a glamorous life. There's more luxury, there's nicer stores, there's even like again, all different types of people are moving to the city of Houston. So it's like, oh my goodness, it would just be like the most perfect place for a glamorous life. Hmm. So, with that being said, that's kind of all I wanted to really talk about for this real talk today. No, it's kind of a bit of rambling, but I just felt like, because I was really just in a mood thinking about it yesterday and today, and I just really wanted to talk about getting that out there. So, with that being said, let me know in the comment section, do you want a glamorous life yourself? Do you want your life to be, more interesting, fun, exciting, or what have you? Let me know down below in the comment section. That's all for this one, and I will check you guys later in the next one. Bye bye.